Without a doubt, the reveal that Smash Bros. Is coming to the Nintendo Switch is the biggest news to come out of the Nintendo camp for several months. We didn't learn much about it from the actual footage, aside from the fact that the Inklings from Splatoon will be making their debut, and that is really one of the most fun pieces of information to learn and speculate over. What new characters may we see appear for the first time? So today I'm going to go over my top 10 character wish list for this new Smash Bros. Game. And while some may be more far-fetched than others, every character I've chosen, I truly believe, has at least the possibility to make it into the game, however small that chance may be. So let's get right into it.
What do you say, bro? Join me. Let's see how far we can take this. And for you there holding the controller right now, just press the start button. Let the bloodshed begin.
Rounding out the list at number 10 is Travis Touchdown from No More Heroes. Who wouldn't love to run around smacking people with his beam katana, and of course, performing over-the-top wrestling moves? Let's take some noobs to Suplex City. It would be sweet if he was also able to use his motorcycle in some way, perhaps similar to the way we've seen Wario use his. We know the next game in the series, Travis Strikes Again, is coming exclusively to the Nintendo Switch, so it would make sense given this new partnership, and of course the fact that this series got its start on Nintendo consoles, that Travis could make an appearance in Smash. Especially since, the whole theme of his new game is essentially him being sucked inside a bunch of other games. I think you could easily put something together that seems like a new trailer or something for Travis Strikes Again, but ends with him finding his way into Smash Bros. The big question is, however, would he get the ability to charge his weapon like he has in the games? I feel like this one is a no-brainer after the most recent Nintendo Direct. The Crash Bandicoot N. Sane Trilogy is making its way onto the Nintendo Switch, marking the longtime Sony mascot's debut on a Nintendo platform. Back in the day, Crash had his famous commercial in front of the Nintendo headquarters, taking shots at Mario, and I think we could easily revitalize that rivalry, perhaps do a video in a similar style, and promote Smash Bros. As the only way to actually settle this longtime score. Similar to how players felt about Sonic making his way into Smash, perhaps not on that level, but this is another former competitor, opposition mascot, that Mario can finally throw hands with. The idea sells itself, I think. Crash could bring all his wacky gadgets onto the field, the jetpack, jetboard, etc. For his final Smash though, I'd like to see him put on the Aku Aku mask and just turn into an unstoppable force. Goku has long been requested to star as a guest character in Smash, one of the most popular anime characters of all time. A martial artist, projectile thrower, seems like a perfect fit for the game. But I think we have a better chance of seeing him now than we have ever before. Dragon Ball FighterZ is one of the most popular fighting games right now, and Bandai Namco have been going back and forth with Switch players online about porting the game onto the platform. The players have stepped up in a big way, gotta give them props here, supporting Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 on the Switch so hard that despite being released a year later on a new platform, the Switch version overtook the PS4 version in terms of sales in Japan. Like I always say, vote with your wallet. Sales are something these companies cannot ignore. So now they're aware of the massive Dragon Ball fanbase who are also Switch owners, and I think it's pretty likely we'll see a FighterZ port on the Switch as well. And perhaps when that game is announced, we could also get the tease for Goku to come into Smash. Hey, it could happen, okay? Shovel Knight is one of those few Kickstarter fairy tales that actually had a happy ending. People were hyped, gave the devs tons of money, and Yacht Club Games delivered a virtually perfect throwback platformer. And this was one of those games that sort of shattered the concept that Nintendo players will only buy Nintendo games, as the game was released on all platforms, and despite the Wii U's extremely low install base, the game ended up doing some of its best sales on that system. The partnership has since continued. We got the initial Shovel Knight amiibo, as well as a bunch more amiibos from the game since then. Clearly, he is at home on Nintendo platforms. The character fits very well with Nintendo's other major characters. I think it's time he digs his way into this game. Clearly, he'd have most of his attacks from Shovel Knight, but I think it'd be cool if for his final smash, he called in a bunch of other knights from the game to just wreak havoc, almost like if someone opened a bunch of assist trophies at once. A lot of Smash fans want them to bring back the Ice Climbers. I am not one of those people. You can go ahead, and the dislike button is right down in the lower right corner, but rather, I do love their interesting mechanics, being two characters who can be strong together but play at an extreme disadvantage while apart. I think we could use another pairing like that, but for that to happen, you'd need another classic duo.
What? Who are you? Prepare for trouble!
Make it double!
To protect the world from devastation.
To unite all peoples within our nation.
To denounce the evils of truth and love.
To extend our reach to the stars above.
Jesse!
James!
Team Rocket, blast off at the speed of light!
Surrender now or prepare to fight.
Yeah, that's right. Let's give him a hand.
Now sure, we already have a lot of Pokemon representatives, and Jesse and James are more known as characters from the Pokemon anime than the actual games, but come on, is there any fan of the Pokemon franchise who isn't familiar with these two? I think the opportunity would be there to have them do some pretty hilarious moves and actions. Like the Ice Climbers, they'd play as a pair, stronger together, but you could divide and conquer them. They could call in assists from their Pokemon, and for the final smash, you could have them jump into their hot air balloon and just fly around the stage and like rain down bombs or something like that. And of course, most importantly, perhaps, when you smash them both and knock them out of bounds into the background, you know what they'd have to do. Bethesda has been one of, perhaps even the best, major third-party supporter of the Nintendo Switch up to this point. We got Skyrim and Doom already, Wolfenstein 2 is on the way, so I think it would be cool to sort of celebrate their support by getting one of their characters in Smash. And who better than Doomguy? The Doom franchise has been on Nintendo platforms since the Super Nintendo. The Doom Twitter is often promoting the Switch version of the game, but obviously the problem is Doom is kind of violent. But who cares? We've already had Bayonetta in the game. Her series is very adult. She uses guns. Hell, we have Corrin, who uses a chainsaw sword. I think you could go with the more cartoony classic Doomguy that's like, bright green. Give him his standard arsenal, machine guns, shotguns, the chainsaw, etc. The BFG would have to be his final smash. Plus we know, he's not afraid to get in some melee range. You just have to give all his moves the standard smash effects, just like every other character has. Just not put any blood, guts, gore in it, and I think it would be totally fine. Okay, now we're getting serious. If we're talking about franchises that are synonymous with Nintendo while not being owned by Nintendo, are there any greater than Banjo-Kazooie? These games were a staple of the N64 era on pretty much every player's top 10 list, but have since been acquired by Microsoft, who haven't really done much with the series since then. So we know Microsoft is a major competitor to Nintendo, so that would be the big hurdle, but as I've discussed before, Phil Spencer at Microsoft has been open about saying he'd love to see Banjo and Kazooie in Smash, also noting they've done similar deals with Nintendo in the past. I've stated previously, I think this could work really well as a dual sort of announcement that benefits both parties. Players have been begging for Microsoft to do something, anything, with all these rare IPs they now own. I think it's something like E3. It would be awesome if, say, Microsoft did their press conference announcing a new Banjo-Kazooie game was coming to Xbox, and then during the Nintendo Direct, Nintendo announced the pair were also coming to the next Smash game. Us fans, we've been saying we want to see these characters, this franchise, make a big return. I do not think you could do much better than that. Like Pokemon, The Legend of Zelda is a franchise you could argue is already overrepresented in the Smash games. We've had multiple links in the same game, for Christ's sake. But I don't care. This is my list, damn it, and we need Skull Kid as an actual playable character. And a quick tangent, when I was discussing my list for this video with some other people who do play video games, and I mentioned Skull Kid, they had no idea who I was talking about. One person thought the character's name was Majora because the game is Majora's Mask. I don't know if I'm just too, embroiled in the Nintendo fanboy scene, but I thought Skull Kid was much more of a household name than I guess he actually is. Just, one of those things kind of surprised me. Sure, Ganon is, the antagonist we all think of when we think of Legend of Zelda, but Skull Kid's tragic tale in Majora's Mask gave him a special place in the heart of fans of the franchise. I could see this trickster being just as frustrating to deal with as the Skull Kids can be in the games, quick attacks, dashes, perhaps even some teleport-style skills, and I believe his final smash should be him calling down the moon from Majora's Mask to just decimate the playing field, similar to the special attack from Hyrule Warriors. This one kind of irritates me. The Shantae games have seemingly forever been a favorite among Nintendo gamers. If you love platformers, chances are you love this series. I think it would be awesome to get some serious hair-whipping action into Smash. Also, it would be sick if, similar to Zelda's transformation into Sheik, Samus with the Zero suit, etc., if Shantae could do some of her transformations. Again, if you're a fan, you know Shantae has some really cool forms she can take, like a spider, harpy, mermaid, etc. I'd like to see her given the ability to take some of these forms, giving her access to new abilities, new skills. This one is simply so long overdue. In terms of a character that needs a spotlight shined on them in the world of Nintendo, like seriously, the first Shantae game was on the freaking Game Boy Color. How has she not been brought into Smash yet? How has she not gotten her own amiibo? Like I said, Shovel Knight, who's been around for a cup of coffee, has like 4 already. It's ridiculous, and putting her in this game would rectify both these issues. In my personal opinion, there is no character who deserves a guest slot in a Smash Bros. Game more than Shantae. So when I talk about a lot of these guest character suggestions, their history with the Nintendo brand often comes up. Obviously, when it comes to characters you want in Smash, you want ones that you just really love, ones that you think may fit in this type of game, but often you probably want ones that you feel are tied to Nintendo, head games that you have fond memories playing on Nintendo hardware. And with that in mind, there's a franchise that has been a major part of the Nintendo story almost since the very beginning, and it's about time we recognize this in Smash. I know no one has any love for Konami these days, but how can you not love Castlevania? Sure, the argument can be made that Symphony of the Night is the best Castlevania game, but this series' legacy will always be heavily tied to Nintendo. It got its start here, it found new life on the 3DS, and it's time we get that representation in Smash. Bring on Simon Belmont. Konami, we know you're not doing anything special with these legendary franchises you have a chokehold on, and while sure you're not going to be letting others make games that don't suck with them, you can at least loan out Simon to Nintendo and have him put into Smash. Obviously, he'd use his trademark whip and special items from the game, axes, holy water, and the lot. Honestly, if he made it into the game, I don't care how he plays, what his spot on the so-called tier list is, this would 100% be my main in the next Smash. I really hope this happens. And that's it. Those are my top 10 picks for characters I'd like to see make their way into the next Smash Bros. Game for Nintendo Switch. Of course, let me know which characters you'd like to see make their way into the game in the comments. As always, I'm John Zakari, and thanks for watching.